Meta is firing 10% of the employees in their Reality Labs division. Guys, that's nearly 1,500 people. But not just that, they have officially shut down 3 VR game studios. Guys, this is not just cost cutting, this is a major signal in their new emphasis and actually gives clues to what our future and what your future income could look like. But more on that in just a moment. A Meta spokesperson came out and said that, quote, "We said last month that we were shifting some of our investment from Metaverse towards wearables." And they continued, "We plan to reinvest the savings to support the growth of wearables this year." And this is also substantiated by an internal post from the CTO at Meta, Andrew Bosworth. Guys, huge changes at Meta. Can you believe it? By the way, if you're new here, I'm Mark. I'm bringing you a fresh video 6 days a week about how AI is impacting you and the workforce. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. Anyway, let's continue. The Metaverse software and hardware was definitely seen as the path forward back in 2021. And this was a really interesting inflection point. In 2021, in October, Facebook actually changed the name of their company from Facebook to Meta. And at the time, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, "I believe the Metaverse is the next chapter for the internet, and it's the next chapter for our company too." My, how things have changed over a few short years. If you thought that AI wasn't a big deal, you can ask Zuck, who has completely shifted from Metaverse and VR to AI and AI wearables. It's just so interesting. Again, we're gonna talk about that here right now. So the question becomes, well, you went so far as to actually change the entire name of your parent company to Meta. So then why shift away from Metaverse to wearables? Why not own Metaverse? Well, as always, guys, the answer is artificial intelligence and money. Why go to wearables? It's AI and it's money. Guys, we are living through the AI age, and I kind of feel like a prophet here, or I'm preaching that this is perhaps the most important inflection point in our lives. It's like discovering fire. It's the printing press. It's the combustion engine. AI is just changing everything, guys. And I mean, it's not like, listen, if you've been subscribed to the channel for the last several months, if you've been keeping up, you know what's happening. And it's always amazing to me when I walk out into the real world, like I am right now, and people are completely sleeping on it. Even in the comments, I see people saying, "It's fake, I don't believe it," and da-da-da. And guess what? Even if that's the case, guys, there's so much money being pumped into AI and this technology. All you gotta do is follow the money. Just follow the money. If the money is going there, that's where the opportunities are for us both now and in the future. Because the reality is, whether you like it or not, if we as men are gonna remain relevant, respected, and financially free, AI literacy is not optional, it is mandatory. Let's take a closer look at Meta. So what's happening at Meta? Well, the jobs are being shifted away from VR game studios, from Metaverse hardware and accessories, management, support, everything revolving around Metaverse and VR is being shifted out. Where is it going? AI infrastructure, engineering, AI wearables, software, AI ads, and AI algorithms. It's all being shifted to AI. Guys, this is not just some random layoff. It is a portfolio exit. And if you don't pay attention, you could be next. And I don't mean to say that is hyperbolic or to scare you, but to wake you up. It's to wake you up. If you're not paying attention, you could be next. Because here are the facts. Reality Labs has lost over $70 billion since its inception in 2020. 70 billion. Is that sustainable? You can only throw money at a problem for so long until you eventually say it's not worth it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had an employee that you just keep paying and paying and paying, and they never get better and they never improve, and you just keep throwing money? Eventually you got to say, we're done with this. Same thing with like a girl. Have you ever dated a girl and you're just like, she's so hot, I know she's crazy, but if I just keep taking her on dates, she'll improve, she'll get better. Eventually, you got to cut your losses, boys. For all the youngsters out there, man, you got to look at the hot crazy ratio. You know what I'm saying? If you know what the hot crazy ratio is, you can put that in the comments below. I want to see who all my boys out there who knew the hot crazy ratio. Regardless, the fact here, guys, is if you are in an industry that's losing money and it's losing market share, it is inevitable that there will be layoffs. Not just, so again, industry-wide, but also company-wise. If you're in a company that's losing money, it doesn't matter about like how ethical the owner is, or the company is, or how well-meaning they are. You just can't lose money forever. Eventually you're gonna have to cut your losses. And again, that is what we are seeing at Meta. That is what we're seeing at Meta. So you compare this draining money, 70 billion in the tank, they changed their name. And what I gotta actually respect this about Meta and about Zuck. So many people get married to this idea that what they're doing, what they've always been doing is so important. Now, I'll give you a quick example. I had a podcast, and there's this idea in content creation and in media that, well, just keep doing the thing. All that matters is consistency, and just keep doing it, and eventually you're gonna pop. And what happens there, this happens to a lot of young business owners too. You start building a business, you're investing in it and creating, you get so married to this idea that you're like, well, if I just keep going forward, it's about grit, it's about perseverance. But what you maybe don't understand is that sometimes the model is just broken. Sometimes your messaging is wrong. Maybe your ideal customer is incorrect. Maybe the problem you're solving, nobody cares about. Maybe people do care about, but they're not willing to pay for the solution to that problem. And so what I really respect about Zuck here is he realized that, even though we committed, we went all in, we changed the name of our multi-$100 billion company to Meta. We went that deep. We changed the name on our stock ticker. That's how deep we went on Metaverse. But it's not working. And for him to step up and say, hey, it's not working, we're gonna shift, this is where we're going, I respect that. And you know what's amazing too is, to me, at least in real life, is with Zuckerberg and with Meta, the numbers are super clear. We're gonna talk about what's happening with AI wearables here in just a moment. But you've got a company that's just draining billions, tens of billions of dollars. Eventually you got to give it up. But some people don't. Some people will, even despite the numbers, just say, if I just dream big enough, if I just want it big enough, if I just keep going. But I think what people don't understand is that consistency isn't just about continuing to do the thing. It's about consistency and improving. It's a consistency and being marginally better. And I think that's what people sometimes miss when they're looking at the consistency, perseverance, the importance of consistency and perseverance. Anyway, so we talked about what's happening with VR and with the metaverse, but what is really shocking is what's happening with the AI wearables. So let's look at that. So Meta just announced that they're delaying international expansion due to, quote, unprecedented demand. Quote, the company quoted this: "We'll continue to focus on fulfilling orders in the US while we reevaluate our approach to international availability." Guys, these AI smart glasses, these AI Ray-Bans, you've probably seen them, are blowing up. People love them, people are buying them. There are so many applications, and that is why Zuck and Meta is going in there. So they're firing the people that aren't adding to the bottom line, that aren't contributing value, and they're doubling, tripling, quadrupling down in the places where they are seeing value. And I don't want to go off on this tangent again, but it's the same thing in business, guys. If you're creating a product or service that people don't want to buy, eventually you got to shift to something that people do want to buy. There's this little known fact that most entrepreneurs have 7 failed businesses before they get to one that works. Interesting. Anyway, let's continue. Here's a question for you. Are you more likely to wear a bulking VR headset that makes your eyes sweat? Or are you more likely to wear lightweight glasses like I'm wearing right now? The Meta Ray-Bans are a little bit larger than this. But the answer is glasses. Why? They're more socially acceptable. They're always available. They can work as an ambient support. You could take them with you anywhere. Like, how many people do you know that wear sunglasses or glasses versus how many people you know that play VR video games in their home? It's a stark difference, a stark contrast. And just a quick side note, I definitely think that VR is going to be insane in the future. It's going to be legit, but the technology's not there yet. They're bulky, they look crazy. It's not a shared experience. Anyway, I don't want to get too off on that. But what I do want to say is that what is happening with AI Meta Ray-Bans is fundamentally going to change the world. And I recorded an entire video on the Meta Ray-Bans a few weeks ago. You can go check out that video right here. But I'm going to give you the highlights here on some of the things that's possible with these glasses, which, by the way, just look like regular glasses. I think you've probably seen people wearing these and didn't realize it. But these Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses have cameras in them. They have speakers in them, microphones in them, and it gives you so many cool things. These are a few of the cool things that you can do with these Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Live transcription and translation. So if you're meeting your Polish-speaking grandmother, it can actually translate what she is saying right onto a little display in your glasses. Pretty freaking cool. Maybe you're deaf, maybe you can't hear. Well, your Meta Ray-Bans will actually give you subtitles inside your glasses on a little screen. That is pretty freaking hot. Contextual reminders. Maybe you're at a party or networking thing and you're like, I remember that girl, but I can't remember her name exactly. Guess what? Your Meta Ray-Bans may recognize her using AI. They can find her on social media. They can remind you that you've met this person before. Maybe it even gives you some notes about what's interesting to that person, where they've lived. Just think about that for just a second. It comes up on a little display in your glasses. Vision. What am I looking at? Your camera is actually understanding all the things you're looking at. Tree, car, phone, whatever. And I actually covered this. This has huge implications for business as well. I covered this in a video. I'll post a link to it here. It was a very popular video. Tens of thousands of people watched, thousands commented. But essentially what this video is about, link here, is about how auto mechanics are being replaced by AI. And in this video, I highlight that a friend of mine who is in the auto mechanic industry, they use glasses at their chain of body shops. They use AI glasses, and their mechanics walk around the car to look at the car, to look for potential problems, and they are recording everything that happens. And then AI is essentially looking at those problems and referencing them all. It's got both audio and video, and then again, AI is managing and interpreting and recognizing everything that's happening. And you can even see how this extrapolates. If you have you want to do, let's take this exact example. You want to do some work on your car, the check engine light's on. You pop on your Meta Ray-Bans, you pop open the hood, and then you say, walk me through how to check this check engine light. And it'll walk you through step by step. This is happening. This is already possible. And you start to just think about all the implications there. I'll give you one more example of what could happen with these Meta Ray-Bans that are already available and that are sold out. You can't get them in a lot of places. Log note taker. If you're in a meeting, for example, I take a lot of Zoom meetings these days. Love it or hate it, I do. And I always want my AI note taker in those Zoom meetings. Why? Because my AI note taker it remembers everything that's said. I can reference it back. It goes to my database, into my CRM. It's very helpful. Same thing with the Meta Ray-Ban AI wearable glasses. And there's all sorts of different glasses, wearables out there, but glasses are the most acceptable and the best for several of these reasons, for the reasons of people already wearing them, they're socially acceptable, and you've got a video camera right next to where your eyeballs are at. And get this, Meta holds 73% of the smart glasses market share. They dominate the market. Their shipments are growing 110% year over year, and they are looking to actually double production to 20 million units by year end. And so here's the bottom line, guys. Here's the big question I have for you. In a world where AI wearables and AI glasses are dominant, where it becomes socially acceptable, where everyone's wearing them, what are the new problems? What are the new opportunities that come from that? Because on this channel, we want to figure out not just what's happening, but what does that mean for me? And if you start to think about how this plays out, there's gonna be all sorts of new problems. People are gonna wanna learn, how do I run ads on Meta glasses? How do I build software for Meta glasses? How do I create different training programs? How do I help people detox from the Meta glasses? If everyone's using Meta glasses to remember everything, nobody's working out their heads. How do I help people work on the memory? So there's all sorts of different new problems that are gonna manifest. Where are the opportunities for you? How will this impact your market? How do these impact your niche? Because the reality is, this story is not just 10% of the VR employees at Meta are getting laid off. No. This is about a fundamental shift into the way that you and I interact with the world, both personally and professionally. And that is what's happening. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and watch yesterday's video. I think you'll find it very interesting. Tata Consulting Services, one of the largest technology services companies in the world, just fired a ton of people. They're not hitting their profit margins. It's crazy. It's nuts what's happening at TCS. Check out that video, because again, the more you know about what's happening in the world, the more prepared you are for relevancy, respect, and your financial freedom. See you there, boys. Peace.